what's decent? Yo, I have an interesting set of matches coming from the VGC Tournament that just happened during PAX East. Now, this is round 3. I believe my opponent's name was Chalkey or Chalkey. I'm gonna gravitate more to Chalkey. So anyway, he's going to start things off with his Kangaskhan as well as his Bishop. I'm going to lead off with my Breloom as well as the Jellicent, and I kind of make a mistake here, go for the Protect. I would say that it's a mistake because Kangaskhan could have actually not Mega Evolve, go for the Fake Out on the Jellicent, and then afterwards combo that with a knockoff coming from the Bishop, which means on the secondary turn, Bishop will be free to go for a secondary knockoff and knock out the Jellicent, and afterwards I would have a Mega Kangaskhan to deal with the Breloom, which Mega Kangaskhan could potentially be faster. I don't know anything about this guy's team. So that was kind of a really risky play, but it was high risk, high reward there because I was actually able to get off the burn on the Mega Kangaskhan because he originally targeted my Breloom. So now in comes my Hydreigon after he switches out his Kangaskhan to his Cresselia. I'm going to switch up my moves and go for a Spore on the Cresselia. I initially thought to do the obvious, which was to knock out the Bishop and then afterwards go for a Dark Pulse. But then a Dark Pulse, even though a stab, won't kill a Cresselia. So I want to put that out of commission for a little bit of time while I figure out how to knock it down while I still have other threats to deal with. So now the Bishop is gone, and I'm thinking that he's going to either bring in his, brings in Kangaskhan. Alright, so Kangaskhan could Fake Out, so I don't want that inflicted onto my Breloom. And plus, I figured this is the perfect opportunity to switch in my Mega Metagross, which I believe can deal a lot of damage here because, I mean, Kangaskhan is burned, so Sucker Punch will do minuscule damage onto it despite being super effective damage. And then afterwards, Cresselia, despite, I mean, if it has like Dark Pulse and maybe Hidden Power of Fire, but otherwise I don't really see it inflicting any significant damage onto my Mega Metagross. So I'm going to go ahead and Mega Evolve right quick as he sets up the Trick Room on the first turn Wake Up, goes to the Sucker Punch, and it is notable damage, even though it's not very significant. I'm going to go for the Hammer Arm. So I'm actually glad that I do have the Hammer Arm. I'm thinking like, you know, since this is a Trick Room party, he might have 0 speed IVs, and I'm not going to outspeed, but I do want to finish off this Cresselia because I don't know what else he has, and I want to maybe get a chance to switch out Hydreigon for a little bit later on. So he shows me Heatran, so I'm like, oh crap. That's a damn Tran, man. I gotta deal with that. And I go for the Meteor Mash thinking that my Mega Metagross was actually gonna die. But much to my surprise, I was faster. I was like, whoa, with that knowledge, I should have actually just went for the Hammer Arm on the Heatran and then comboed that, like double targeted with the Hammer Arm as well as the Dark Pulse. But all worked out because I happened to actually dodge Heat Wave, which was actually pretty fortunate. So that's the game 1. This is game 2 right here. So now I'm gonna switch up things and go for, well, actually I don't even switch it up. I lead out with the same thing. So I'm like, you know what, it worked well the first time. He does have like Heatran, Cresselia, so now he shows me Clefairy as well as the Mega Kangaskhan, and I'll put the Clefairy to sleep as he goes to the Double Edge, and I didn't even know that I was faster. I should have just actually went for the Protect the first turn as I go for the Taunt on the Clefairy, knocking out any possibility of it going for to follow me, and then afterwards followed up with the Spore. So I told him right there, like, first turn, I had a significant disadvantage here because of my screw up. So I'm gonna have to work really hard in order to fix that up. So now he switches out his Heatran, which I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing playing so straightforward? Because that particular turn, I went for the Will-O-Wisp, so I go for the Protect. I would figure that Kangaskhan would want to target my Mega Metagross since it's not burned right now, so I thought that was my little thought process there. I'm going to take full advantage of the fact that Clefairy is asleep, and I am going to switch into my Hydreigon because my Hydreigon does happen to have the Earth Power. He's going to switch out into his, what is that now? His Bisharp. And Bishop does have the Focus Sash, so it's not like Earth Power would have been able to knock it out anyway. But it doesn't knock it down to its Focus Sash because it has Friend Guard. At the same time, that actually didn't even register in my mind. I mean, I saw that his nickname was Angel Miranda, and Angel Miranda's Clefairy. If you guys know Angel Miranda, he's a seasoned VGC player, and he's sponsored by Clash Tournaments. His Clefairy has Friend Guard, and it even crossed my mind that, yo, it's Magic Guard. I'm not going to go for the Will-O-Wisp on that thing. I'm just going to go for the Will-O-Wisp on the Bishop, you know, to kind of dwindle it down a little so that I don't have to deal with it. But it didn't cross my mind to, you know, try to target that a little bit more as far as status is concerned. So now I get off a nice little burn on the Bishop, which means that I don't have to worry about it knocking down any of my Pokemon anytime soon. I'm just going to go for the Meteor Mash as well as going for the Scald And I'm thinking in the back of my mind that, you know what, I should have actually just went for a hammer arm, because I guess I wasn't really paying attention to the fact that I just taunted and disabled Clefairy, which means that it had no moves. Like, it had to switch out, and its 2 back Pokemon were weak against fighting type attacks. So I'm like, dude, I went for Meteor Mash. I completely deserve that miss. I mean, it's not like it even mattered anyway. So I'm just going to go for the Protect, and I am going to get off a nice little Curse Body, I believe. Yes, I do. But unfortunately for me, the 10% probability of me getting the burn from the Heat Wave does inflict itself onto my Jellicent, which makes things a little bit harder for me because his Kangaskhan is a burn. You know, I still have a lot of things to deal with. And I'm here trying to Meteor Mash this dude. I'm like, I can't stand Clefairy. I got to get you out of here. So I go for the Scald on the Heatran now that the Clefairy is gone. And I am now just going to go for the Protect, and I believe I kind of Will-O-Wisp the Mega Kangaskhan. I believe that's what I do. So he's going to Earth Power again, double targeting the Mega Metagross. No, I don't. I go for the Recover, which I'm like, yo, I'm reviewing this, and I'm like, why did I do that? I should have took the most optimal time, which was right now, to go for the burn. It's not like Heatran can really do anything to me. I don't even know what I was thinking. You know what it was? I told my opponent that, yo, in person, like in real life, like tournaments make me shiver. I mean, there was this one time where I just had a Charizard. Bro, it was Charizard against a Breloom that already had his sash broken, and I had Flamethrower. Not even Heat Wave, I had Flamethrower. And I'm there shaking like I'm about to lose. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like shaking. So I'm like, the whole tournament setting actually throws me off a little bit. I'm not going to blame it entirely on it, because I'm still held accountable for the moves that I make. So at the end of the day, all the excuses in the world would equate to the fact that I still lost in the case scenario that I do lose. You know, so anyway, the Kangaskhan finally dies after these last 13% that it takes from the burn. And now I'm left off with the Clefairy as well as the Heatran. It's a tough turn because Clefairy could have just easily went for the Follow Me, which would mean that I won't get a chance to go for the Hammer Arm on the Heatran there. So he went for the Heat Wave, knowing full well that I was going to go ahead and target the Clefairy. Now, even though I do have the type advantage here, and Moonblast won't inflict a lot of damage onto me, I'm still sort of at a disadvantage, especially when I saw that. Oh my god! This man has minimized. Do you know what that means? The invasion could just allow this dude to go for a whole barrage of Follow Me's, and I would never hit my target potentially. So I need a Skull Burn like now. I need one like now. Oh my gosh, but I also need to take off this Heatran because I figured that Heatran's going for the Flash Cannon so that he could activate my Curse Body and then turn around and go for the Earth Power. So it's a smart tactic, and also since Flash Cannon also has a chance of lowering my special defense, even if he does not score a Curse Body right there, he can actually get off a nice little special defense while my HP is low and going for the Earth Power as well as going for a Moonblast there. So he's just gonna go ahead and hit me for a whole bunch of Flash Cannons. I'm just stuck on Recover. I have PP Max on it, which is cool. So I'm like at 16 power points. Well, I'm not at 16 right now. It's hard to tell what I am at this particular point in the battle because this is just a replay. But he is still going to try to hit me with the Flash Cannons. I've yet to take out this Heatran because of the Friend Guard there. And I'm just stuck between whether Heatran's gonna protect, whether the Clefairy's gonna attack me and or protect, whether he's gonna minimize. I mean, it's just a lot of variables here in this particular setup here. So Clefairy again minimizes, and I'm like, he might just try to go for the Follow Me here, and it's maybe a chance to go for the Scald here. I should have actually went for the Will-O-Wisp, but then, you know, I mean, hell, I'm just really hoping that I inflict a burn on this thing. I need at least one of these things dead. If one dies and I'm at a considerable amount of HP, I am fine. But bro, I cannot have both of these things on the field at the same time. He finally goes for Earth Power, figuring that, oh no, he gets a special defense. Nah. So at the same turn that he actually scores a special defense drop, I actually get the burn. So now I am just kind of forced to go for the Recover as he goes for the Earth Power here. And Earth Power is going to take me down to where even if Flash Cannon was to hit me, because I'm burned and all that other jazz, I am just going to, you know, end up losing in the case scenario if I just... Oh, nice! I get a nice little curse body on his Moonblast as well. But not like it matters because I do have the special defense drop and Heatran is faster, so I am even with the burn. It doesn't matter this particular point of the battle because Heatran is going to hit me with the Flash Cannon, and that is going to be the game right there. So that is the secondary game, and this is the third one. If I can just find it. Right there. Alright. This is the third one here. If you guys did see the preview, I had a preview of a battle where I did use Evalite Inferno, so that's actually pretty funny there. I used it like 3 times. But anyway, let's focus on this particular battle. So now, this time, I know that the Kangaskhan is slower than my Breloom, but I don't want to lose its sash yet because I figure that the Suicune could actually go for the Tailwind, which I mean would make sense is why his Kangaskhan is not the Jolly set because he has Tailwind to back it up. So I'm just gonna go for the Tailwind, and I believe he does the same thing. Yes, he actually does do the same thing. So now I have an advantage sort of where I can actually burn the Kangaskhan, but I'm not gonna go ahead and do that yet. I don't believe, and he goes for the Protect. So I am just going to go for the Thunderbolt on his side, and then afterwards try to go for the Will-O-Wisp on the opposite end, just in case he happens to have the Heatran and decides to hit me with the same trick twice. So now, since he went for the Protective first turn, I am just going to hit it with a T-Ball. He does have the Citrus Berry, which is pretty standard. And I am now just going to... Whoa! He shows me Toxic. He is not playing around with Gelatin at all. Oh, buddy, I am in trouble, son. So now he goes for the... I go for the taunt on this thing a tad too late because he did already do his job on my Gelatin and inflict me with a Toxic. So now he's just going to want to switch out, which he does do so right now. And I figured that he's going to want to go for the Protect on his Suicune. So instead of targeting the Suicune with the T-Bolt, I decided to target the other side and go for the T-Bolt. And then afterwards hit this thing with a Will-O-Wisp. If it does connect, I would be able to knock out the Bishop, but it unfortunately for me does not connect. And both of our Tailwinds peter out. I am just going to go for the Tailwind as I inflict a burn, I believe, on the Suicune. I think that's what I do. So he goes for the Ice Beam on it. I figured just trying to take out the Zapdos on that particular turn. I think that's what it was. So try to take out Zapdos on that turn so he doesn't have to really deal with Zapdos a little bit later on. So now in comes Cresselia. I'm noticing that my Gelatin is racking up a lot of damage as far as the Toxic is concerned. So I am just going to switch into my Mega Metagross as he might just go for the Protect with his Suicune. That's what my thought process was. He shows me Ice Beam, and Ice Beam is not going to do anything to my Mega Metagross except maybe freeze it. Oh man, so now he shows me Tailwind, and I'm like, yo, I got a frozen stone statue right there, man. That was my ace in the hole, buddy. Oh man. So I know he's going to want to take full advantage of that. I'm just going to go ahead and Mega Evolve anyway. There's no reason not to, but Jesus Christ, I have a stone statue, man. Come on. Yes, throw out Protect, buddy. What you know about that, man? Oh my gosh. So I'm just going to go ahead and go for the Will-O-Wisp on the Cresselia, thinking that the Cresselia was... I just want residual damage on the Cresselia too. So now I have to switch out Gelatin because, you know, Gelatin is like at a scenario where if it takes a Psychic and I don't recover and I attack, it would actually just like Dissipate, like clean off the field. So now I decided to go for the Hammer Arm, thinking that his Kangaskhan is going to want to save, but unfortunately that's not the case. So he goes for the Psychic there on my Zapdos. Like I did say, if I ended up attacking on that particular turn, oh no, now he goes for the tail. He went for the Tailwind last turn, which means that his team is faster. He's going to go for the Scald, hoping for the burn, but unfortunately for him, he does not get it, as I am able to retaliate back with my Mega Metagross, and I'll knock out his Suicune. So now his Tailwind peters out also. So now I have no choice but to go for the Recover here. I am going to go for the Protect and take defensive measures against his party at this particular point of the game, and go for a Recover, because now the damage output from the Toxic is now reset, which is pretty cool, which means that I won't be taking much damage as quickly as I would have if I would have decided to stay in anyway. So now he goes for the Will-O-Wisp, thinking that I was going to want to attack with the Gelatin, but that is not the case, as I want to go for the Will-O-Wisp on the Mega Kangaskhan. And it even crossed my mind right quick that, you know, he has 2 Pokemon left. I'm still playing like he has a Heatran in the back. I'm like, I should just burn the Mega Kangaskhan, and he realizes that it's already game because he knows that I'm going to target the Mega Kangaskhan the next turn and afterwards, because they can't really do anything to Mega Metagross. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please drop a like. Don't worry, I will post the remaining of the matches that I had during this VGC tournament pretty soon. If you guys want to see more content like this in the future, please subscribe to me. It's awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Peace. What you doing?